Welcome to episode 134 of the Inside Byte. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey, Tim. I'm doing great. I actually, which I'll talk about later, I've been playing a game so much that I just hear the themes in my head. You know, when you get to a point with a game where you just, you
Hey,
just
at least
think about it, you hear the
good
music.
Themes. Because that will happen in games that you are not liking. That stuff gets stuck in your head. So just be thankful it's good.
I remember I actually like this one, but I know a lot of people thought it was corny. But when Street Fighter 4 came out, they came out with that song where it's like, I could feel it coming over me. It's like a whole like Japanese like rap kind of thing.
Yeah. Actually, I dug it, dude.
I loved it. But my one friend would always make fun of me. He's like, what the heck is wrong with you? This song sucks. I'm like, stop it. I like this song.
Shout out to the art style of 4. I always thought that was so cool. That was a really cool art style. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. What's going on with you?
I don't know. There's a lot going on with me, but it's like, I've been talking on it the last 2 episodes. Team Pensacola stuff. Things are popping off. Just posted the latest interview. Of course, the mic totally screwed up. It actually recorded the mic on the camera, not the mic I had attached. So I spent the whole weekend repairing that ordeal. Anyway, and then posted a new video yesterday of another show that I went to. I went to 5 shows in this last week, which is like, I don't know. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. I don't think I've ever done that before, but I just keep getting too many ordeals of like, well, I really want to get footage of this, or somebody's really trying to get me to get footage of it. One of the two keeps taking place. But either way, I do want to really fastly get into this Xbox stuff because I feel there's a ton to talk on, and we got a big state of play that happened that I also really badly want to talk on. Best state of play that I think has ever happened, in my opinion. Like, they crushed it, but we'll get into it. Anyway, so I want to get into the Xbox stuff first because there's a lot to say. So, a ton of rumors have been popping up on Xbox to where they're going to PlayStation. It started with like a game or two, and now they're talking like basically the whole first party catalog. I mean, it's got Gears of War listed, all Halo stuff, any first party, even like the smaller stuff I see was like listed as showing up. So, but it's all rumors, it's all speculation. And then yesterday, Phil posted something saying, we're going to be holding a meeting next week to talk about the future of Xbox, and people are sending him questions. Let's put it this way. Phil is like confirming that yes, that there's going to be a major shift. It's nothing small, but to what degree, we still don't really know. That's basically how the tweets are kind of reading. And the actual rumors are, it's for sure everything going to PlayStation. Like all the first party stuff. So here's, before I say, I guess, my piece on this, what are your thoughts? Because I could spill for a minute, but I'm gonna stop here. And what do you think so far?
So I think that there is, even though Microsoft obviously has so much money, it's not like they're struggling for money. They could support Xbox for as long as they wanted to. We all know that. Despite that, I think I could see them at some point in the near future just kind of branching out. Like, okay, we're putting our games everywhere. We're selling a service. We're selling Game Pass still. You know, that's kind of where I see them going, to be honest.
Do they keep a console?
I don't think they will have a console eventually.
So Sega route.
Kind of, but probably more successful.
Well, yeah, but we'll publish to all systems, and we'll just be a publisher, and we won't even have a console anymore.
I think so. Yeah, okay. I think I could see that happening, and I don't even say that as a like, man, that's so like. I don't think that's
is that a positive thing or a negative thing? What do you think?
I know some people will call me biased because I'll say Nintendo. I don't want them to do that. Let me explain why though. It's because Nintendo has got my attention in a unique way, right? They are very deliberate about building the system around their hardware, and it's a portable system. That's why I don't want Nintendo to do that. If that wasn't the case, I'm all for it. For example, PlayStation, I would have no problem with PlayStation dropping PlayStation and just putting their stuff everywhere. I would have no problem with Xbox doing it. Nintendo's the only one I wouldn't want to for that specific reason. Would I want them to have more powerful hardware? Sure, of course. But
Nintendo for the
making
last
their games,
25 years have done nothing but when they release a console, it be unique piece of hardware.
right?
Xbox and PlayStation are just boxes to play games on. They're different categories, I feel. I feel Nintendo's very unique in its motion control to a tablet to whatever, right?
They build their system, their games around the system too, which is what I think is unique about them, you know? But no, I don't think this is a bad thing per se. I think this is actually good. I mean, for people who play on PC, I think we already are benefiting from Xbox's games, right? So now PlayStation people will have the same deal. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it as a bad thing.
Okay. So there's two things. One, let's say these rumors are true and it's going to PlayStation. I don't think this is actually what's taking place. My theory is very recently, so Epic and Apple have been fighting for a while. Okay, put it this way. In the past, Xbox Game Pass can't be on the App Store on Apple because there's multiple programs or games inside of it. Apple only allows one thing to be inside of an application, not multiple. So very recently that changed. So then I'm thinking, okay, well now Game Pass can be made for Apple and it will happen here soon. So what I think this started is a whole chain of like, well, I think they've been building up to this moment for years of Game Pass going to all platforms. I do not think it is a games are going to PlayStation like selling out a cart. I think it's Game Pass releasing on PlayStation, Game Pass releasing on Nintendo, Game Pass releasing on iPhone.
Right.
I think they're just basically was able to make a big move to where they were able to dump Game Pass on a lot more platforms, and that's what they're about to announce. I think that's why people are seeing listings within PlayStation, but not because of them releasing their games out of cart, but just through Game Pass, and it may only just be streaming. They may not even actually get to run it native, and I think that's what it is. I think they're just going to be able to dump it on that. And because these are consoles with network being really important in mind and all that, when I play cloud on my Xbox, for example, I get way better experience than if I play cloud on my phone or any other device. I think they could get that same build of strength inside of a PlayStation, maybe inside of the next Switch, something like that. So I think that's all this could be, and that's what I think is going to happen. Now, let's say it didn't happen. Let's say it actually was just games going to PlayStation. Do I care? Is there anything of like, is this negative in any way, even if that did happen? If they just sold all their first-party stuff to Nintendo and PlayStation and they just allowed them to release their games? I mean, I guess if you're like hardcore Xbox fan, you could be a little upset, like you lose exclusives or something. But does even the hardcorest of an Xbox player, are they upset if they're not just a cringy person? Like if they're just a normal, if they're just a normal rational person, but they are a gigantic Xbox fan, right? They really are. Are they slightly bummed? Are they slightly bummed that they lose exclusives? Is that a thing that they think? I don't even know.
I think that there might be, you know, like you said, a reasonable person. I think there might be a level of, you know, oh, well, what? Because they almost probably look at it in a sense of like them giving up or something, you know, like they're not going to care about, even though it might not be true, they're not going to care as much about building their, their catalog out and working on these games and yada. And I don't think that's true. But I could see how maybe even a reasonable person might have some thoughts like that. And then you have your cringe, you know, people
stuff
who are flipping out. I'm not supporting Xbox anymore, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think there could be a handful of reasonable people who might feel a certain way about this, you know.
Now, if Xbox is leaving the console space, I mean, I don't know. That's hard to believe. Like, that's really major. Crazy. And that would be really crazy. And that really would be, I mean, they've been around, like, again.
It's been over 20 years, right?
What? Yeah,
when did the original Xbox?
I know it's over 20. I just don't know exact.
Let me see. 2001. Yep.
So
we're talking about almost 23 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah. I mean, me mentioning all the Game Pass stuff, what do you think after me saying all that? Do you think it's Game Pass, or do you actually think
Um,
it's them dropping the console race? Are they dropping that of the console
so
race?
yeah, I think the Game Pass thing was something I already thought was going to happen a long time ago. Now I'm thinking that that might be part of a bigger thing, and I could be wrong about that. I just have a suspicion that they might be jumping head first into this. Excuse me.
Now, what would be major, right? What if they didn't release, what if they didn't like sell their games where like, or like PlayStation and Nintendo sell their games? What if it is locked
Right?
with Game Pass, but what if they allowed native downloads?
Oh, I see. So you can only get it through Game Pass. You can't purchase it, but you can
Yeah,
download.
so it forces the sub, but they
I mean,
can download.
that would get. I think that would
That would be
probably.
gigantic news. I mean,
I think that probably
I
pulled
think
me
that'd
in.
be
Yeah.
bigger news than even Xbox leaving the console race if they did a move like that.
Yeah. You know what? I know
Because
people would
that's
probably be like,
hundreds of games you could just play on any
yeah.
platform.
I
That's
know people would be
pretty wild.
complaining, maybe, but it really is no different than like a Netflix, right? You want to watch Netflix, you can download them, or you have a subscription, right? Same idea, really. So,
Yeah, but if they supported native download,
yeah,
that'd be insane. I
that
just
would
thought of
be.
that. I was like, it sounds a little too good to be true, but if they supported that, okay, PlayStation 5 could run everything, right? But like the PS4 app or Switch app, now you got to question all that. So that's what makes me think maybe it's not going to happen, is because how do they do that with other platforms like
Sure.
Nintendo? But Switch 2, if it actually is around the corner, I mean,
I hope it is.
maybe they just bank on that being more powerful and then release there, and then oh, we'll put on Nintendo once they can. We'll allow native download support on a platform once it's strong enough to support it. Maybe they word it in
Right.
that way, right? Maybe, hey, this application is anywhere and everywhere. If your hardware can, if one of our supported pieces of hardware list, we will also then allow native download to it. Maybe that's how they achieve that, right?
Not a bad
So if
idea.
you had like a strong enough laptop or something, or like a strong, like say, let's say it's a tablet, like a Microsoft Surface Pro, those are tablets technically,
Oh, yeah.
or like an iPad, but let's say this iPad is strong enough to actually support the native download if they allow it. Like, do they go into some weird depths like that with it, or they just, I don't know. There's so many possibilities here, but I guess I'm gonna say I'm in the camp of Game Pass instead of believing the camp of we're not going to have a piece of plastic anymore. We're not going to have a console. We're dropping out of the console race, and I don't know. I don't think it's going to go that far. But maybe
Yeah.
they sell to other platforms and still keep their console going. And just say, hey,
Yeah.
we'll sell to all platforms, but also have our own platform in case anybody still wants it for whatever reason. But the problem with that is like, how many people then would want it? But I would, because I didn't buy Xbox for exclusives. I bought it because I'm big into like PC gaming and my Steam
Sure.
Deck, and even before my Steam Deck, just being able to stream games to my phone, my tablet, whatever I was using prior. I was using the backbone a lot, stuff like that. So I like the Xbox because of all that stuff. I don't have it because whatever exclusive. I mean, there's hardly any, and I would just play on
Yeah.
PC if that was the case. But
Yeah, that's true.
that isn't why I have it. I have
No,
a
that makes
PlayStation
sense.
for that reason, so I would still be an Xbox customer of their consoles, but I wonder how many people actually would if they had no exclusives.
If they had
Do
no,
you
yeah.
think a console's worth it if it doesn't have exclusives? Let's say it's
I
PlayStation.
think
PlayStation doesn't have any exclusives, right? I mean, I first of all, I'm exaggerating. Okay, Xbox has exclusives, but I mean literally only on that Xbox, not even PC. Like they're, like
right,
PlayStation
right.
has titles that literally are only on that one system. It's a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
boat there. So what if PlayStation? What if that wasn't the case? What if PlayStation, any other game you can play anywhere else? Uh,
yeah.
do you buy a PlayStation then, or no?
I think it would really depend on if it's your primary system, right? Like where you play all your other stuff. If that's the case, then yeah, I still think it's totally worth it, Because sometimes when people say reasons why you should buy a PlayStation, they include a lot of third-party games, which is fair if that's where you play your third-party games, It doesn't just have to be exclusives, I guess, if I really think about it that way.
Yeah, I would just have to pick a box at that point. There'd be no reason for me, if both systems played all games or whatever, there'd be no reason for me to have both, and I would just take my pick and leave it at that.
Sure. Yep. Agreed.
So I guess that's how I would handle that. But either way, I don't know. I don't think it's going as far as Xbox dropping their console. I think it's just Game Pass going to all platforms, and I think what actually is going to happen is just going to be cloud. I think it's just going to be Game Pass Cloud on your PlayStation. And that's why those titles are showing up. And I think that's all it is.
No, you very well could be right on that.
Yeah. It only makes me really think that I thought that was going to happen anyway. It was just a matter of PlayStation agreeing, right? They've already mentioned multiple times of planning on releasing on Nintendo. They've actually said that, like, we're working with Nintendo to bring this. So maybe they just talked with everybody and got everyone agreeing to Game Pass being on all platforms. And that's what my bet is going to be on with this news. And we're going to actually know next week, but
we're going to see.
It's pretty wild. I mean, since we were teenagers, Xbox has been a thing. So the fact that we may hear some news that the console's not going to be around anymore, that is pretty, like, I don't know if exciting is the right word, but just very interesting to find out what happens next. Like, I'm watching a TV show and I'm like, damn, I really need to know what's going to happen in the next episode, like now.
Right.
Is kind of how I think about this. I'm like, I cannot wait to hear what this event is going to be next week.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what it ends up being all about. What day exactly is it again?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw next week.
Let me check that.
So it says, here's the tweet. We're listening and we hear you. Because of all the stuff, the rumors and all the talk, all these leaks of it going to PlayStation, okay?
Sure.
We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. So he responded to the rumors with that. But then he responded to even more tweets and made it even more obvious that, yes, this is what he's talking about with the rumors of going to PlayStation. That is what he's referencing here. And that's confirmed. So in case anyone's wondering, like, maybe he could be talking about something else, that's not the case. So there's no day, though. So, okay. Either way. All right. That's that. PlayStation State of Play.
PlayStation State of Play. Okay. Well, let's see. Starting off. Oh, you know what? This is your thing. I'm gonna let you start this one off.
Well, what do you think as a whole, though?
Oh, overall, I thought it was really solid. That was very good. There were a handful of games that I was interested in, and even some that I wasn't, I still thought looked pretty good. So yeah, I thought it was great. Okay. Really well done. So
yeah, a solid A for me. Really liked it.
Agreed.
I don't know. The reception I see is like pretty mixed. Some really liked it. Some were like, eh. But I personally thought it was great.
I agree with you.
And this actually does make me... See, that's the thing. This makes me happy I have a PlayStation 5 right now.
Yeah.
For real. I'm pretty stoked about it. So, biggest thing in my opinion out of the way, just because I'm a Death Stranding dork, again, my favorite PS4 title. So, Death Stranding 2 is officially titled Death Stranding 2 on the Beach.
On the beach.
Kojima Productions shared a traditionally lengthy trailer for Death Stranding 2. Norman Reedus, Sam Porter Bridges returns, and it appears he's facing off against a new group called Drawbridge. There was a lengthy sequence with a potential villain using a chainsaw, guitar, hybrid weapon, shooting lightning. That was insane. It was like he's like clown mask with... I
was very confused as to what I'm supposed to remember, what I'm supposed to not remember. I was totally lost.
So the hair, like she's turned... Okay, it looks like Emil from the first game turned around. and then she turns around to face you, and it's what is that? The
what's her
main
name?
villain
Fragile.
dude from the first,
Oh,
right?
Higgs, right?
Is that
Is that his
Higgs?
name?
I don't know. I
I
guess
don't
is
know
it
if that's
Higgs
him.
with
I
a new
think.
mask, or is that someone else? I don't know, but
Yeah, I
it
don't
kind of
know.
makes me think it's him. But anyway, looking like a Mills with a hair, then turns around and it's clearly not her. And this dude with like a clown mask. He's got the main character Sam held up, right? And then like people got him at gunpoint and everything, and then he's just sort of talking to him with his guitar. An enemy busts in on the scene, and he just starts like taking down the enemy with his guitar, shooting lightning at the enemy. So like some weird 80s trippy cartoon or something. And that's just like one of the many, many, many weird things that happen in this trailer that I thought the first game had some weird stuff going on, but I really love that it's continuing to stay weird. And
Oh yeah, this
it
sure
definitely
is.
makes me believe that nobody else would even agree to allow him to make a video game if it was anybody else. But he has proven himself
Oh yeah.
every step of the way. So people are like, screw it. Like, yes, make whatever. Here's whatever money you need. I mean, if he continues to prove himself, he can continue to get weirder for all I care. So,
I agree. I think let the guy just do whatever he wants to do at this point because that trailer was wild. I'm like, what the heck am I watching right now?
so it will star Reedus, Lee Sedux, Ellie Fanning, Shiloh Katsuna, Troy Baker, and many more, like pretty famous people up in this game.
Yep.
He also talked that he's in the works of making a new action espionage game. Basically, a stealth game. Same things of like, that's what he would title the Metal Gears, that little subtext underneath. So,
Yep.
we're about to get a new stealth game from Kojima in the style of Metal Gear, which is really interesting because, I mean, he doesn't have the IP anymore, but I guess he's just going to make the same type of game, but just with original characters. And
It's a little workaround.
to be honest, I'm completely down for it. So I would love this. I think this is great. So hell yeah, I'm excited for this. So
Totally agree, man.
yeah, it's gonna be a new IP for PlayStation. So PlayStation's actually gonna own the IP, but he's just gonna no, there's no way. There's no way Kojima will let PlayStation own the IP. That's got to be wrong.
No, yeah, I'd
The
be
whole
shocked
point
if
of the Kojima production is because he just clearly doesn't want to work for somebody.
yeah, he wants to just do his own thing.
Yeah, so I don't see that. Whatever. Apparently will attempt to blur the line between video game and film, just like everything he seems to be working on right now, which honestly, I keep thinking this is actually going to mean something like that game we like, Quantum Break, right?
Yep.
But the more I think on it, the more I'm like, dude, he's been saying this stuff since like Metal Gear Solid on PS1.
He really has.
Of like trying to make a film like, right? And actually achieving that, like the cutscenes were clearly leagues above other cutscenes during the time frame, right? So, I mean, the only person who would rival is Final Fantasy on that regard,
with the crazy Japanese stuff going
on. But so, I mean, maybe this doesn't mean what we may think, like, oh, maybe he's gonna release a film alongside it or something like that. Maybe he's just trying to make it look that good and that engaging that you may think it's a film when you're playing it. Maybe that's all that means. You know what I mean? Kind of how.
Yeah.
But
it could be.
It could be full on like side stuff, but I would still consume it. So. Yeah,
man. Whatever he ends up doing, it's a lot of people love to hate on Kojima because he makes games that are way out there, but you have to give the guy credit, man. I know the two of us like his games, but even if you don't, you can't deny that the guy clearly is trying to do something. It's pretty simple to put out a game we've seen a million times before and have it be good, But can you get a game that's so amazing that people go crazy over it, or they absolutely don't want anything to do with it? Those games, I think, are better choices, because they really try to go for it. So
I could
I'm all
understand from
for
the
this.
outside if you weren't like a
Sure.
big fan of his or never really played any of his stuff, how we would just sound like complete fanboys and
Right, right.
over gushing it and not even, everyone wants to talk of like, dude, don't even like begin to be hyped on something till it's out because you never know the problems, blah, blah, blah. But
Hmm.
again, let me stress, there hasn't been one example of his piece of work that has even been bad, and he's in
I
his
agree.
50s. At some point,
I
you
agree.
gotta let me just give in and just be like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Why not? He's never once proven wrong, so he's got the perfect track record for me.
Right.
So
No need to start down
I'm
them now. So
yeah. So I understand it could sound fanboyish, but I think he deserves it. Like that's just what I believe. Like
I agree with you. I think he's clearly proven himself.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I trust him over like as bad as it sounds like Miyamoto, because even Miyamoto technically, like let's think, is there a bad Mario game? Does that exist?
Not as far as I know. The
Oh,
worst Mario
oh,
game's probably Lost
I
Levels or
know. I
something.
know what it is. I know exactly what it is. That Star
What's that?
Fox Wii U. I
Oh,
liked it
oh, oh.
as a
I liked
whole,
it.
but it's like a 7 or 8
Yeah, I
at
can
best.
I can
I
agree with that.
think that is a kind of weaker thing. Now, maybe there is like a 7 or 8 when it comes to Kojima. I'm trying to think. I don't think so. No, because since the original Gear, Metal Gear, way back in the day, right? Yes, it was incredible for its time. So how can he can't like go into the future and make a better piece of material? Like that's impossible. For the
Sure,
time, he did the best he could do. So it was
sure.
great by that metric. And any time in that time frame, let's say PS1, yeah, you go back and may look rough now, but at that time, it was the best thing anyone's really done. And it's kind of been like this with each game. I can't think of a
Yep.
game that hasn't been a technical like Marvel. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
agreed.
So okay.
Now, you don't have to convince me, man. I'm
Well, yeah.
There are a lot of naysayers
There's a
of
lot of
Kojima, though,
yeah,
as
yeah,
there
yeah.
always will be when you have someone who's that good at what they do, So, all right.
All right.
Next up, we had a deep dive on Team Ninja's Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin is out on March 22nd, and Team Ninja gave us the best look we've seen so far at the upcoming action game. We got to look at the hub world of Yokohama, one-on-one sword combat with a parry system, and a lot more. Now, I will say for myself personally, I played Neo 1. I did like it, but it did get like quite repetitive towards the end. Neo 2, I started twice. I really liked what I was playing. It was great, but for whatever reason, I dropped it off. So then I see this
First of all, the
game.
same thing happened with me. Like Neo 1 was
Yeah,
pretty cool, but I fell off. With 2, I didn't want to fall off, but I just happened to.
yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I see this
Anyway,
game and it's like it looks fun, but then it also looks like a PS3 game. Like I don't know what's happening. It looks
I
I don't
agree.
know. It's hard to put my
It's
finger on it.
this. I think it's even the same engine as that Wukong Fallen Dynasty.
Oh,
And that
yep,
looked like, yeah, like last gen. I wouldn't go as far as PS3 because like in terms of like at least
yeah,
frame rate, and there are some like stuff, I know it's a slight exaggeration, but I know what you mean. It definitely looks
yeah,
very
yeah.
aged.
It
Um
does.
but what's cool is it looks like it's that engine and it's looking like that type of game, but then it looks very Sekiro, right? And more than anything, more than even Sekiro, it looks like Ghost of Tsushima. It's like Ghost of Tsushima meets like Neo, let's say.
That's a fair point.
Because it has like the stance changes to Ghost of Tsushima, but it has like the parries, like as if you need like the perfect parries, like you would when it comes to like um, a Neo, or so, or even a Sekiro, probably even more so than that. Because it looked like you were trying to tire him down so then you can do damage, big damage. But that's how Sekiro works. So
Yeah, it was the same idea. I remember with Sekiro when that idea first popped up, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but yeah, they ended up doing really good with the thought of bringing their bar down and then throwing your
yeah,
damage on
yeah.
there. So
I don't think it's going to be that difficult in this game, right? It's probably going to be a little easier to parry.
Yeah, I would
But
think
I don't know.
so.
I don't know.
It is made by
Neo
Team
was
Ninja,
pretty
though.
tight too, though. That was pretty difficult.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so what do
you
you
never
think? I
know.
mean, in terms of the casualtiness of this, is this going to be on the difficulty of a Neo?
I think it's knowing these guys. I think it still is going to be pretty tough.
Okay.
You know, similar to what Neo does. So
Now, we got to see him like roam around a city and almost do some Assassin's Creed crap, but then also have a
right,
glider. He's like gliding from tops of rooftops from one to the other kind of thing and going
it's very
through
vertical. Yeah,
a full on city. So, in like previous stuff of like Neo or the more recent Wukong that I was talking on, which I really like that game. You really should play it. But
I will.
regardless, those games did not have like cities in them that you could like walk into like different buildings and stuff like that. This game has that where it's like, and he's like climbing up stuff and moving between buildings. Some like it's kind of Assassin's Creed-ish. It's I don't know. So there's so many blends of so many things going on. Anyway, I'm saying all that. I think that's why I'm quite intrigued in this title. And it makes me want to play it is because I've never really seen a game really doing these many different things, and if they can pull it off, it'd be a pretty cool game. The one downfall I do agree is just this presentation's a little rough, but this could be really
Right.
good and really fun. So I
We
thought it
can
was a
iron that
great
out.
showing. Like
I agree.
I liked it.
I totally agree with you. Yep. All
Another
right.
PlayStation exclusive.
Yes. So Until Dawn Remaster coming to PS5 and PC this year. That's great. The rumored Until Dawn Remaster is real, and it's coming to PlayStation 5 and PC later in 2024. We got to look at the remaster's enhanced graphics and learn that developer Ballistic Moon is handling the project. This is great. I haven't played Until Dawn since it originally dropped in, let's see, I don't even know what year that was, but I want to say it was like towards the beginning of the PS4. It was like 20, let's see,
It'd be
2015.
20. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so we're talking about 9 years later. Yeah, I think this will be good, and I'll get it on PC, and that'll be great. So I'm all for it.
Is it not on PC right now? Is it?
It is not on PC right now. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So okay, that makes sense then because I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was coming to PC, and that being the case makes this make a lot more sense because they're trying to come up with that like is it a TV show or movie? I don't remember. One of the two. But they're doing it Until
Yeah.
Dawn, I think, a movie, and which is
Yes,
a
I
little
heard you
weird
that.
because it's like the whole point of this game is to like choose your own adventure kind of deal. So a movie's like seems a little boring, but at the same time, I guess they could just like have it in. I don't know. I just don't know why you'd have to call it Until Dawn because there's countless movies of like kids in the woods and some stuff happens and all that. Anyway, regardless
Yeah.
of that, it makes sense to release this with the movies just for the whole synergy level of it and all that sense. What I thought was like, I personally don't want this unless I were to play it on PC because I don't want to buy it on PlayStation because if someone's on PS5 and doesn't have a PC, I think this is kind of dumb because the game already is available PS4 and it doesn't look bad. Like it looks normal, it looks good for its time, whatever. This is gonna look better, I get it, but is it I don't know. Do I buy full price to just for a little bit of a graphical upgrade? I don't know.
Sure.
I
Sure.
want it, but maybe I would buy this on PC. So
Right. All
yeah,
right. That's kind of what I want to do. It's been long enough that I forgot kind of what happened. I played The Quarry, which was obviously similar idea to Until Dawn. I really liked it. So yeah, I'd love to go back and play that.
the bigger thing of the criticism of this, which I would totally agree on, is where the hell's Bloodborne? Why do we get this and we don't get Bloodborne?
Dude, I was
That's-
avoiding saying it because it just makes me mad. Like, you're bringing back this game that came out the same year as Bloodborne, and yet we cannot get Bloodborne.
Anyway,
I don't understand it.
yeah, I
don't
know. I know. People are screaming from the mountaintops, and we all know. But I had to say it.
This came out August 2015, and Bloodborne came out March 2015. I want to say. Let me double check. Hold on.
Why couldn't it have Ballistic Moon just done
I
that
know.
then? All you gotta do
I'm
is
on
do a
board
60
with
FPS patch. That's all you have to do.
That's it. That's it. Let's see. Bloodborne came out March 25th, 2015. Yep. Dang, it's almost been 10 years.
Make this ballistic moon do that. Then put them on Until Dawn. Come on, Sony. All right. It's just it's just annoying. That's all. I just want to play it. I want to play it really badly. I never played it. And it's like, you know how hard it is.
Same boat. Neither one of you guys have played through it for the same reason, and I don't really.
Hey, at least you played it
sour.
at the time it came out, to where we were still okay with 30 in some level.
Right.
I can't do it now.
Now I don't think I can do it.
I can't do it, dude. I can't. I keep trying, and I just uninstall it, and I'm just like, dude, I can't. It
makes me so mad, man.
All right, moving on. Stellar Blade. We got a deep dive of that in a release date announced. Dude, this is my number 2, right? Death Stranding my number 1. Stellar Blade my number 2.
Yep.
This is sick. Woof. Now, we all know, even they know what they're doing by like the 3rd second in. Here's just a full on ass for like 10 seconds on screen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
classic. Trying to take a near approach.
But dude, honestly, the whole time I was thinking near. I was thinking like, I mean, it's very platinum through and through. I know it's not platinum, but it's very platinum. It's looking nearish. It's looking Bayonetta-ish. It's that type of game, and it looks fantastic. I can just tell just by looking at it. Like I'm really shocked that this game doesn't feel good in combat and up there.
Oh my God, yeah.
With some of the best. And by the way this looks, it really does look to that quality. So
it looks like it's gonna be definitely have good combat. The characters look cool. I think this game is definitely setting itself up for success, So,
but yeah, they're doing the whole Adam and Eve thing. They're doing
right,
and even the Lily. They're doing the, it's the end of the world, and it's how many years later, right? So they show, even in the trailer, there are some actual humans still left. So we do know that. So I think the premise is cool. I think the atmosphere looks great. Everything they show, the combat looks fantastic. There's not a single thing that I felt negative on it. I thought the music was even dope. I don't know. I was very much about this game. So we got a deep dive on Stellar Blade, the action game coming from developer Shift Up and publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment. We learned that the game is coming on April 26th. Woo woo, dude, that's close, bro.
That's super close.
Hyped.
Very exciting. I can't wait to play this game, man.
The game takes place on apocalyptic Earth, where a mysterious enemy has forced humans to flee to a colony. The main character, Eve, and her 2 companions, Adam and Lily, work to destroy mech-like enemies as well as hostile survivors. Eve will use guns and swords and stylish action combat.
I think this game looks like Bayonetta and Nier put together or something. Like, it just looks so cool, man. I'm very excited. I really hope they don't mess this up. I don't think they will. But yeah, who is the
dude? PlayStation exclusives this year? I'm starting to really think now, because you got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
right,
which is fantastic.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, and then we got this Rise of the Ronin in March. We got this Stellar Blade, and
starting to pick them up,
dude. I mean, already that's solid as fuck. First party, well, not first party, but exclusives. None of this is first party, but exclusives. Yeah. I mean,
speaking of another game that definitely looks interesting, Capcom shares another Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer. Dragon's Dogma 2 is also out on March 22nd, and Capcom showed up to share another look at the long-awaited sequel. So this is great.
Same day as Rise of the Ronin. AKA, I would buy this over Rise of the Ronin.
I'd buy this too. Dragon's Dogma 2 is starting. These games are starting to fill out the beginning of the year now. I never played Dragon's Dogma 1, Although I heard a lot of good things about it. I was always kind of interested from afar, never played it, but this one's definitely got my interest. So I think I'm gonna, barring any sort of Suicide Squad, reviews, then I'll probably end up getting
My
this
big
one.
worry is apparently there's reports of it being 30 FPS only on
On
console.
console. Yeah,
I'm
hear
telling you
something
right
about
now,
that.
there's no way I'm buying a console if that's the case. First of all, I'm probably gonna play PC anyway, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely not buying a console that's 30. But
Oh boy.
that's if that happens though. I mean, that's a good probably 2 or 3 million sales that you lose if it's like a big
I mean,
Capcom
yeah.
release. Let's say they sell around 10 million. I feel you would lose like 2 million of that if it's 30
Hmm.
FPS on console. You know what I mean?
Oh
But I
yeah.
don't know. I'm curious exactly how many people you lose to stuff like that. I know it's not as major as we put it as what we may think initially.
Right,
Sure,
right, of
I'm.
course.
I would be hoping half the people don't buy it because of it, but there's just a lot of people that just weirdly. I don't know. If, yeah, again, we've been bad on this topic for a while. I guess it's. Do you think it's some eyesight issue? Do you think it's like I'd start to wonder stuff like that. Um,
Oh god, I gave up trying to figure out why people are okay with 30 FPS in 2024.
maybe they just actually see it differently. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe they've tricked themselves.
Well, look back. I'm gonna do it one more time, and I'll shut up. But they keep referencing the past, and that's not true. NES, Super
A lot
Nintendo,
of old games
Sega
were at 60,
Genesis,
yeah.
all that were 60. The only reason it went to 30 was when PS1 and N64 with that jank ass 3D,
Right.
things ran
Right.
slow. That's
The
when
polygonal
30.
3D,
That's when the
yeah.
whole 30 stuff started coming in. Is during that time frame,
Oh yeah.
and then it
Yep.
sped back up even in PS2. Like PS3 it dropped again because HD. Same with like going into 3D to begin with. It's like people keep trying to like argue that, well, back in my day, no, it was fine back in your day, dude. That's not even true. So I don't. It annoys me greatly, and their arguments aren't even true and don't make sense. So
Oh boy.
because I clearly remember, and I know they do too, how ass some of these PS1 and N64 games ran. Don't give me that shit. Like it was normal. Same, same with like PS3 stuff. Like we were definitely complaining about like how, but I don't know. Yeah, remember Bayonetta back on PS3, Skyrim back
Yeah.
on PS3, how just
Oh
it
yeah.
ran like ass. There was definitely talk about it during those times, and that's why the 360 was leading so much at the time because there was so many
Yes, I
issues with
do.
all that.
I
So
do
this is
remember
nothing.
this.
This is nothing new. Like I don't understand what people are getting at there. It's not new. It's not a new problem. We've been bad on this for a while.
Yeah, people just have been ignorant to the battle that's been going on.
All right, all right.
Next up, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations announced. Sega revealed Sonic X Shadow Generation, which is an enhanced remaster of Sonic Generations with new content featuring Shadow the Hedgehog. The teaser trailer showed the same levels we saw in the original Sonic Generations from 2011, as well as the new levels where Shadow takes the lead. It's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC in autumn 2024. All right. I mean, I don't have that much to say about that. It's fine. It's cool.
I weirdly really like the Sonic Generations, one of my favorite Sonic
Mm-hmm.
games, and I'm
Good
totally
game.
down to play this, where it features
Sure.
like Shadow the Hedgehog type levels and maybe other like games that involve Shadow. I'm okay with that. I like it. I always like
Yeah.
Generations, so I'll buy this.
Very
Um,
cool.
all right. It's weird. I'm a Sonic fan. I like them. I play a lot of them. I probably play the majority of Sonic games 2D or 3D. But I'm not like a gigantic fan. Like I enjoy them, I like them, and they're like sevens at best and eight at worst, like a four. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just game by game. But I still play through the series, and I like them. But
Sure.
it's nothing like crazy for me. But
I get it, man.
Silent Hill, the short message it's now dropped. You can download it now. I was excited when I saw this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna download this. And then once people started playing it, I've heard nothing but terrible things about this. So apparently it's really bad,
Yeah,
which bums me out because I was kind of
it's
wanting
too
some cool
bad.
like PT thing or something, you know?
Yeah, I was like curious about it, but then I heard some really bad stuff. I was like,
Um, I mean, I might still give it a shot and just see what I think. It's
I
free,
might.
whatever. The problem is, it's like, okay, but I don't want to waste 3 or 4 hours on something that most people don't like. Like, I'd rather just
Right.
keep playing my Persona 3 progress. So I
All
don't
right.
know.
All right.
If somebody convinced me to play it, I will. But right now, I'm not convinced. Let's just say that.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
and then they showed a new trailer for Silent Hill 2. A lot of people don't seem too hot on it. I think it looks good. Was I
I think it
like
looks
blown
cool.
away by like it being like a top-notch graphical piece or anything? No, like it doesn't look as cool as like a Dragon's Dogma 2 or Death Stranding 2 or anything like that,
Right.
or
Right.
even some of this other stuff shown here in the PlayStation. Sure, like I get you there, but I still think it looks good. I still am interested in playing it, but I don't know. I never played the original. So what I
Yeah.
would be curious on is basically when this comes out, we'll see what state it's in and see what people when they compare the two. I want to see
Yeah.
like what people say about that.
That's what we
And
need to see
and
because
as long as they're like, it's good enough. Maybe I prefer the original, but as long as it's like not bad. I don't want to play like an okay game. Like as long as it's even slightly better than the original, I'll still play it because I never played the original. And the only way, like immolation's still really weird with that game. To this day, I think like they fixed 90% of the fog issues and stuff like that. But apparently, it's still just always best because you have to purposely play it in a lower res for the aesthetic to work or something like that. And so, unless I play it on my PS2 and my TV, I just really don't want to do that. So, I really do want to play this game and always kind of wanted to. So, as long as it can just meet the original and just give it like better controls and it look a little better, that's all it kind of needs for me. So, we'll
sure.
see.
Sure. No, I totally get it. I thought that the trailer definitely looked interesting to me. The combat the enemies looked kind of weird, and like the way he would hit them was, I don't know, something seemed off to me. Not sure
Yeah,
what
I'm
exactly it
hoping
was, to be
that's
honest.
just because they still got to work on it a lot. Like, I hope they are not thinking that's okay. Like in its
Right,
current
right,
game
right.
build, because yes, it did look like he just kind of went,
It looked kind of
didn't even
janky.
really
I
hit
don't
him.
know.
It just kind of went through him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So,
yeah.
but other than that, I'm interested. I wanna check it out and see what it's all about. So, yep, definitely be doing so. All right. Next up, we got Judas gets a brand new trailer, which I'm very excited about. Judas is the next game from Ken Levine, the creator of Bioshock, and it definitely resembles his original work. A full trailer for Judas was shown in today's State of Play. It looks like a colorful dystopian game with a first-person combat. Yeah, it looks like Bioshock. I'm all for that.
it
That's,
it
I
it
mean,
looks a. I mean, it's literally so if Bioshock One is your Bioshock, yeah, Bioshock. Like I don't consider Bioshock Two like it. I know it's canon, but it wasn't made by Ken Levine, right? So
right.
the Ken Levine games, it'd be Bioshock, Bioshock Infinite, and then this game, and it looks like the third one, as if he just kept going up and up, right? Like,
Right,
okay,
right.
we're in the water, now we're in the sky, now we're in space, right? And that's pretty much all that's taking place here, because it looks identical otherwise. Just all the ideas, how everything is looking, how the combats look, just looks like upgraded as it went along, right? I mean, Bioshock Infinite, I thought was a good upgrade from the original. And I
I
think
agree.
after so long, obviously it's going to be even bigger of an upgrade. And I think it's a natural evolution, is all I'm saying with this Judas. So it makes me think like, what if it actually technically is Bioshock canon? At the end, we find out, like what if
Oh,
that is
imagine.
some
That'd
weird
be sweet.
twist? it,
I'd love that.
it
I think
makes
it
me
looks really
think
cool
that's
though.
even possible just because of how much it looks like Bioshock.
I think it looks
But
cool. I'm excited. Patiently waiting for whenever that drops. So
I saw some comments of some people being like, dude, it kind of reminds me of what was that jank recent game that had that Bioshock vibes? It was like Russian.
Atomic Heart.
Yeah, I saw some people, dude, it kind of reminds me of Atomic Heart. And I'm like,
Oh man, those people aren't
clearly,
old
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Those people were born in like 2005 or something. I saw that. That reminds me of like a meme I saw where it was like a girl was like, "Man, wouldn't it be cool if on our social media you could put music and let it play on your page?" I'm like, "Oh man, you
Oh,
weren't around for the MySpace
oh,
days when we all used to code our songs
yes.
onto our onto our page." Oh
Good
man,
times.
yes, yes, it's a missing feature, man.
That'd be sick. Though.
Why don't we have that
I
anymore?
don't
Why
get
don't we
it. I
have you
don't get
come to
it.
my
It'd be
Facebook
sick.
and all of a sudden my song starts playing?
I know. I know. I know.
I don't know.
They could do it. Come on,
They could
guys.
easily do it.
All right. V Rising is coming to PlayStation 5 in 2024. V Rising, an isometric metric game with some Diablo vibes. We got a full trailer during the state of play and learned that it's coming to PlayStation 5 in 2024. The fantasy survival game originally launched in early access on PC in 2022. So it's been getting really great like reviews on Steam, and it's been getting a lot of traction on Steam. Yes, it has like the action of Diablo, but then it has survival mechanics and like base building stuff. But the premise is cool. What it is you're a vampire, and depending on who you eat is how you level up. Like if you eat a bunch of warriors, you'll gain a lot of strength. If you'll eat this type of person, you gain these type of attributes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're also doing all the survival mechanics of having to like build a castle so you can survive the daytime instead of the reverse, right? Building stuff up so you can survive the night. Well, you're only out at night, so you have to build a bunch of stuff to survive the day. And then during the day, you may have like maybe humans coming to attack, stuff like that. So
Yeah, no,
I
it
think it's
looks
like
cool.
a cool premise, looks good, all that. I'm just not a survival dude whatsoever, or so I thought. But then Power World is, I still am playing, and I still love it. I think it's only getting better for me to where I'm like, damn, this is just actually a really good game at this point. I'm actually really digging it, but
Awesome.
now it makes me like open my eyes to like maybe I would play something like this because some I don't know. I like the survival stuff in Power World, and I've never liked it prior. Maybe I could handle something like this. But the problem is Power World. It makes it so it's so accessible and so like easy to learn.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. The very moment it even gets slightly hardcore, I'm gonna lose track real quick. Not that it can't eventually turn into hard, but that slope has got to be the most gentle slope ever for me to keep
Yeah.
going, or you're gonna lose me
Yeah.
fast.
No, that's totally fair. God, the way Power World has got off is just so crazy. I think it's pretty funny.
It is. It is. All right.
All right. Well, next up, we got Dave the Diver coming to PlayStation. Dave the Diver was a surprise hit in 2023, and today we learned that the game is coming to PlayStation this April. Plus, we learned that Godzilla is coming to Dave the Diver in May 2024. Cool. People seem to love that game, so more places to play it, always a good thing.
I mean, sure, I would like to play it, but come on, guys, I got a lot to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Never gonna freaking catch up.
Zenless Zone Zero is in development for PlayStation 5. Zenless Zone Zero is HioVerse's newest game, and it's now in development for PS5. And you know, it's one of those like Genshin Impact, Star Honk, Star Rail, whatever it is. It's not for me.
Yeah, it didn't look like my thing either.
But again, they are good games. So for this showing in terms of like grading the show and all that, like this is a good thing to show. If I was PlayStation, I would be showing this. People do really like them.
Of course. Yep. I agree.
Yeah. Um,
Next up, we got Metro Awakening VR, which brings the long-running series to virtual reality later this year. Awakening is set before the events of Metro 2033, and it will put players in the shoes of a doctor searching the Metro tunnels to find his wife. That's cool, but whenever they do a VR game that is part of a series I already love, I'm always just like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm not playing that one for now.
well, I have a
Looks
quest,
interesting,
and neither
though.
one of these games are exclusive,
Right.
but they showed off two VR. The other one, Legendary Tales, which is like a RPG first person kind of thing.
Mhm.
what I want to say is I will probably play this Metro. I'm down. Like, I just think the Metro games are great, and a new one in VR actually sounds pretty ideal for the series. I think this is pretty neat, and I'm gonna give this a shot. I seem to keep falling off of. I mean, I like that golf game, dude, for real. So I'll give it that. I'll go Resident Evil 4,
Mm-hmm.
Pistol Whip, Beat Saber.
Pistol Whip. Yep.
That's about it. I think 4 games there.
There you go.
And I've tried, I don't know, maybe like 90. Uh, Not really that into it, but I would try this Metro. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
so Foam Stars, they got a trailer. It's coming out. When does it come out? The 8th. I think that's right. Which would be the same day as Helldivers 2. If that's the case.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah. Huh.
Helldivers 2 and Foam Stars.
Now, I mean, Foam Stars are doing free on the PlayStation Plus and all that, which
That
you
is
would
true,
have to
that is
have
true.
PlayStation Plus to even play Helldivers 2 because you would have to do the online multiplayer. So, I guess people, if they're playing Helldivers 2, they probably will still at least try this out. But I have a pretty easy prediction that it's going to like spike hard while a bunch of people try it out, and I don't know. I give it a week.
It's
I don't think it's gonna be like badly designed. I don't think it's gonna be broken. None of that kind of stuff. I just don't think it's gonna like. I think it's just gonna be another Destruction Derby All Stars.
I was just gonna say it's just gonna fizzle out probably, you know? So
But
it's
I
what
don't know.
it is.
I don't know.
Could be wrong, could be wrong.
Yep. But yeah, Helldivers 2. I mean, we got that trailer. I mean, I've already been sold on this. I do want to play it.
It looks
Um,
cool. I would like to. I know it's out or it's about to be out, but at some point I'd probably like to get it. We could play it together because that does look
yeah,
fun.
I don't want to buy it just yet, but I do want.
Right,
to.
same here, same here.
So,
Maybe we wait like a month or something, and we'll both
Yeah.
jump in and play it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty
News?
much it. We got a review roundup, and I do want to get into that. But I also wanted to mention first, hey, Mass Effect stuff is coming to Destiny 2. I guess that's neat. February
That is
13th.
cool.
And then Super Nintendo World, we are now getting in Orlando, so I don't have to go all the way to California to visit this. So
There you go.
I'm excited. uh,
Mhm.
it's gonna be great. I was looking at like a full map. So Super Nintendo World is gonna be one of 5 immersive worlds in the all new Universal Epic Universe theme park. So next year they're gonna have a separate park in Universal, and they're calling it this like Epic Universe theme park sort of thing, and it's like 5 sections, and one of the 5 is gonna be Super Nintendo World. When I saw the big zoomed out shot of it all, I was like, dude, that's all Mario. And I was so hyped. But then I was like, oh, it looks to be about the same size as the one in California. It's just going to be a part of a bigger new theme park, which I'm excited for a bigger new theme park. But I did get my hopes up a little too much when I first saw the image because I thought it was all Mario. But regardless, I'm hyped. I hope it's, I don't know. I still have this feeling to where like I feel it's going to be a little too small. So many people say it's not very big, and it's like, you know, you see a few things and that's it. But I don't know. Like no one's ever, they say that, but they're never sour about it. People still walk away liking it even when they say it's like kind of small. So maybe I'm overthinking the small part of it. But it makes me a little worried that it's like everyone
Sure.
seems to say it's a little small. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who knows what to think on it, to be truthful.
I guess you just have to experience it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, this review roundup though. So, Granblue Fantasy ReLink came out. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League came out. Persona 3 Reload came out. So, I wanted to just go over a review of each game here. So,
Sure.
I just picked ones that seemed pretty like normal for the reviews as a whole kind of pool. So,
Right.
it got an 81 on Open Critic, okay? And Destructoid's 8 out of 10 is this. Granblue Fantasy ReLink features an incredibly satisfying gameplay loop on the back of an outstanding fast-paced combat system. If you're looking for a narrative-driven experience, this isn't it. But if you're looking for a fun grind that constantly feels satisfying and rewarding, that's exactly what you have here. Now, I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts, which, you know, I get why some people want it if they do a podcast, and it makes sense to me. I've just been listening to them since I was a teenager, and it's just too big of a part of me to where I don't want to not listen to gaming podcasts anymore, even if I do it myself. So, anyway, I was going to get this game. I really like the demo and all that, but I've talked to multiple just friends. I've listened to multiple shows of people saying, hey, the story, it's pretty short. It's like 10 hours, and there's not really anything much to it. It's very generic, very whatever. They don't want to say it's bad, but it's okay at best. And then a lot of big portion of the game is this Monster Hunter type stuff, which I mentioned last week, which I did really think was cool, but I'd rather play Monster Hunter, and I don't think it's great or anything. Like I don't know. I just don't have time to play like a multiplayer game really like that, or really much of any multiplayer game. I was more interested in thinking it was like a great single player JRPG, and that's not the case here. It's more on the multiplayer focus, and so now I'm like, I'm out. So I'm not gonna pick it up. And then Suicide Squad to Kill the Justice League. Well, definitely, not picking this up. But 6 out of 10, Open Critic. IGN gave it a 5. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a repetitive and bland looter shooter that, despite an engaging story, never stays fun for long enough. I've heard people go pretty in depth in like how this game is structured, and basically it's about 6 different what would be like a cheap side quest, but it's like cycles between 6 missions just as a whole. And where any other game, it would just be like, oh, go collect these orbs and throw them into this, and that's one of the types of missions. Or go save these people from a building, and that's one of your missions, whatever. So like the mission structure is not even interesting. Even if the story's kind of cool, people say the first mission lasts like 3 or 4 hours, and that's where the cool story part comes. And then once that's over, it's pretty boring after that, and it doesn't really like hit much on narrative after that point. And then it ends in about 10 or 11 hours, and everyone's just kind of saying it's pretty boring. So, and then I'm not into it, but I was kind of expecting this wasn't going to be good. I mean, as most people. So I know you were a little interested in maybe thinking about getting it if it.
Yeah, I definitely was. I think I've heard you talk about this in the past, and then based off that, I looked up some videos and stuff, and it definitely seems like something I could. It's the same problem as always, right? It's always like you have like this whole list of things. I want to get to this. I want to get to that. But there are games that in my head, it's so funny, right? Because we're adults, we can pick any of these games to play anytime we want, ever, right? But you always have this thing like, man, I really wish I could play this game right now. Granblue Fantasy.
So are you thinking about Suicide Squad? Like, would you even play this? Is that what you're saying? If you did have the time and wanted to give it a shot?
even though the reviews are not great, right? I did watch I watched some deep dives on it, more than reviews. I'm like, I don't care if they spoil it. I just kind of want to know at this point.
I was just watching videos in general, people playing it.
Yeah.
And I still didn't like what I saw, but you did?
I didn't love it, but there were some things that I did kind of like.
Okay.
I did kind of like first of all, I like all the color. Like that did draw me in a little bit. I know that's a simple thing, but I did like that.
Well, the city looks really cool in my opinion.
The city looks really cool.
Yeah. But the problem is you don't really, the city's very empty and there's nothing really in there or anything to do.
That's definitely true. That's why I think if this game was maybe, real cheap, I might pick it up and play through it. It's a short game, because I hear that there is some good stuff in here, like the story is pretty interesting, or they have like good seeds in there that maybe they don't, take care of the right way, which is really unfortunate. But yeah,
I think
maybe at some point.
I think it's everyone's saying it's boring because of all the understanding of what I'm seeing is every gun play is the same. It's just upgrades. So if you get like a
Right.
different type of
Right.
shotgun, it still feels like the last shotgun. For you know
Right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
And so it feels pretty like shallow in that department. And then the characters, the only difference in the characters is just how they traverse through the world. Otherwise, they're the same. So it's just the way they traverse and a certain move while traversing that you could then also use in combat. But it's just that. Otherwise, everything else plays the same. Of like between the
Yep.
characters, and then all the guns feel the same. It's like I
Oh
don't know.
boy.
That doesn't really sound that appealing to me.
No, it really doesn't. It'd have to be a super, super cheap deep sale for me to even consider getting it. So
All right, and then Persona 3. I've been talking hype on this, waiting for this to come out. Persona 3, one of my favorite like JRPGs. I was wondering if I still had my copy or not, and I do. I have Fez, which so people unaware, there's an original without the Fez on PS2, and then Fez added like the answer is what it's called, and it's like the game ends with a really crazy bit that I would never get into. And then the answer literally answers some questions about it and gives a little more depth on the endings kind of thing, which is pretty cool or whatever.
Okay.
But the big thing with this Persona 3 Reload is it doesn't include that material. So even though it looks way better, plays way better, all that, it is missing that one piece of content. But apparently there's rumors saying they're going to release it as DLC. And I hope that's the case, because it'd be really, really funny if, they release a remake of Persona 3, but you know how like in Persona 3, Fez came out, Persona 4, Gold, then you have Persona 4 Golden, you have Persona 5, then you have Persona 5 Royal. Then they remake Persona 3, but then they're also gonna add an expansion on a remake or something like Persona 3 Reload Second Mag. It would be really weird. So hopefully it is just DLC and they answer it with that instead of having to buy a whole nother version of a remake. It'd be some weird ass. But all that, I just had to get all that out of the way. Persona 3, so good though, so good. And I'll get into
the way you've talked about it, it really makes me want to play it.
Here's the good thing. So I would say Persona 3 Reload or Persona 5 you should play. I personally like Persona 3 more than Persona 5, but I didn't finish Persona 5 because it's so long. So maybe by the end I could like it more, right? So I'm not going to say that. I hear a lot of people that have finished both say that Persona 5 Royal is the better one. Okay, so that could be right. But Persona 5 Royal takes like 130 hours to beat. Persona 3 Reload is like 50, 60 hours. Like, okay, it's a long JRPG, but I mean, not 130 hour. You know what I mean? So, you 3, 4, or 5, you haven't played, right?
Nope. I played a little bit of 4, and that's about it.
I think 3 is much stronger than 4, and I will always say that till the end of time.
Okay.
So much cooler. 5 is like, I could see, I really like the characters for 5. I could see why 5 could be better, and maybe I could come to that conclusion once I beat it, like I say. But I would urge you, if for you just need to play one of the best JRPGs that exists, because it's like Persona, it's Dragon Quest, it's Final Fantasy, right? Those are like top 3. It's really, really, really wild that you haven't played one. So I think you should play Persona 3 Reload because it's way, way shorter than 5, and it is. I think it's better, but at worst, it's just as good. You know what I mean? Maybe slightly worse. Maybe I completely changed my tone. Let's be 5, but Persona 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. A top 5 for me if I really try to think it all through. I don't know. Maybe it hits in the 10, but regardless, you should play. I think I really urge, if people are trying to figure out what to bring them into the series, this would be the perfect game because it has all the Persona 5 upgrades. It even looks better than Persona 5 graphically. There's no debate there. I mean, it does look better in that department, and I've heard everyone say, yeah, Persona 3 Reload looks better whenever they're compared with 5. I don't even think that's really much of a discussion there, but it's more of, like its characters, its story, all that. And it's like,
Of
okay,
course.
where do we decide there? But if somebody's jumping in, why not jump in Persona 3 Reload? If you don't want to spend $60, I don't know, get a month of Game Pass, try it out,
There you
see
go.
if you like it.
Simple.
And that way you can just try the series in general. Because if for anyone who hasn't played anything in the series, do a small buy-in and see what you think. Play as much as you possibly
Right.
think. And if you end up liking it, don't stop again. You spent $15 to see if you really wanted to invest in a game that's like 60 hours long. And if you decide on yes and you go buy it, $15 ain't a big deal to at least get you to understand. Because again, I just think it's that important because this is one of the biggest JRPGs that exist. And everyone's kind of come to this conclusion whether they like it or not, just in terms of like, what do they consider big and popular JRPGs? This is going to be one of them. So,
Sure.
I think you should do that. And then if not, just outright buy it then. But I think you should, you and anybody,
Yeah,
this should be where you jump in on the series because it looks the best. It has all of the upgrades, and I think it's the best story of the 3. So
it's definitely got my attention for sure.
so 89 on OpenCritic, which is really good. GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. Persona 3 Reload's a season elevating an unforgettable story with smart combat changes and drastically improved visuals. And we get into what we're watching, what we're playing. And I already talked on Persona 3, so I'm good there.
Sure.
I watched Scavenger's Reign. Did you actually watch an episode?
So it's so funny because I told you about it. I was gonna keep watching,
wow.
and then I just kind of
Wow,
fell
Rudy.
off. Haven't
Wow,
watched.
Rudy.
So yeah, I'm slacking. So how about you? What did you think?
Yeah, I watched the first episode, and like, I don't know why I do this, but I do need to be better at like, if somebody's not always going into it negative, being like, I doubt it's that good, right? And I guess it's because you're like really high. I'm really high on Invincible, right? And it's like you're like, hey, it's kind of similar to that. And I'm like, well, I doubt it's not going to be like as good. First of all,
similar art style, yeah.
Just know it's nothing like Invincible. It's a similar art style,
only
and it starts and ends there.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't think you were saying that, but I just was like, I didn't know what to expect, and I just want people to go out there knowing, hey, it is nothing like Invincible. Okay, it is just purely like art style kind of looks like it. But first of all, they do way more impressive things with art style in this series, only because of the reason, like. The reason would make more sense in this show. Like, Invincible isn't about super weird, trippy alien stuff, like to the levels of like people actually. So, how do I? Okay, let's pull back here for a second. The show it's almost as the name implies here, Scavengers Reign. So it's a bunch of scavengers, sort of, let's say, shipwrecked on a planet, right? And there's a few throughout the planet. And what the show is doing is it's jumping between different scavengers that are sort of lost on this planet. And they're very spread apart. Now, as a planet as a whole, it's not going to be very in that department, but let's say they'd be in like the same state, let's say. About scope there, and going between different people within a state on a planet. And it's more of an abstract visual experience than anything else. It is really trippy. It does have a really interesting story, but it almost works kind of how like a video game would work. It's almost like if I don't know, like this, like you're playing Ori or something, and the story's kind of slowly unwinding around you, but the point you're playing it is because of its like beauty and the fun of it. You know what I mean? And then the story kind of takes shapes and starts making a lot more sense the more you watch it. But it's not there to, it's there to be a visual experience over anything else.
Okay.
I don't know how else to word that. And I think you'll understand once you watch it. But it really is some of the best visuals I've ever seen in animation. It may be the best, to be honest. It's incredible.
Okay. I'm gonna definitely follow
I
up on
loved
that
it. I
then.
watched the first 3 episodes. It goes through their journeys. It's almost like, again, it feels very video gamey because it just shows them like not really talking much with people, and there's not much of a narrative per se, but it's more of like something is happening in their area, and it's just showing their journey. So like it's just like a character. Oh, okay, they have this safe space, but now it's getting invaded by something, and they have to leave. And they come across all these insane things along the way of like falling into this monster's belly or having to battle a big storm, but the storm literally cuts into you as it hits you, and they're trying to find shelter, and they find shelter inside
Interesting.
of monsters, and it's very like wild stuff, very wild stuff, because it is very alien. Like they're definitely on a planet super far away or something, and some unknown reality to us, to where the creatures, they are fantastic at coming up with incredibly original ideas for how a creature like interacts, and
Even
how
the first
unique it
episode, I
is.
thought that. It's like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
So
Very cool. All right.
I loved it. I understand the hype here. I really do like agree. Like of what I've seen, the first 3 episodes, 10 out of 10 each time. Like
Sure.
loved it. So
Okay. That's gonna. I was already planning on watching, but that's gonna give me a little push because it's actually really good. Like it got like 10s and 9.5s across the board. So
yeah.
yeah. All right.
Okay.
Very cool.
Final Fantasy 16. Let's hear it.
Yes. So I think I'm about. I think last I checked, it was like 65 hours or something like that, and
I didn't think this game was that long.
so
Maybe you've just wanted to do everything.
yeah. Like I told you before, the side quest. I mean, I don't have to give the whole speech again about it, but basically, every side quest is interesting to me now.
Okay.
So there are 76 side quests. I've done like 74. Like I got like 2 left, right?
Okay, because yeah, in my opinion, that first third of the game was, well, I got 25 hours in, so at this point, I guess that would be like a third. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
the
even
first
a fourth.
handful of side quests were, bringing
Okay.
soups. Yeah, that was lame.
So it's cool. I mean, this is good to hear though. Like the side quests do get better.
I
Okay,
promise you, they get
okay.
way better, way better.
Okay. Now I like the side quest with the bit of the people turning to stone and all that. Like I thought that was a cool one.
Those are
I
cool.
liked. I would say like 3 of like the 15 I've did.
Okay. And even though when you are upgrading your weapons, it's not like they behave differently or anything like that, right?
Yeah,
We're still missing that, which I'm a little disappointed about. However, you can go to the little, forgot what it's called. It's like a little statue in the middle of the hideaway where you can customize your appearance. So I was able to get some pretty cool swords, and I eventually got the Buster sword. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So now I just run around. You have the Buster sword on. Even when you swing it around, it kind of like hits the way that you would expect it in Final Fantasy VII. So I thought that was
you
cool.
can't like customize what weapon type, but you can customize the way it looks.
You can customize the way it looks, and you can upgrade. Like I got the legendary weapon in the game now, and it's super strong, but it doesn't change the appearance. You have to change the appearance manually, right? So
does it change the behavior of the weapon in any way?
No. Nope.
Okay.
That's what bums me out about it, which I think is definitely something for them to fix for the next game.
Because like 15, when you shuffle between different party members and you get the experience there.
Right.
Same with Final Fantasy 7, you get the different experiences there. But let's say, I don't know, Final Fantasy 12, yeah, you can have any job of any character.
Right.
Which is really fun.
More customization for sure. The thing I think they didn't focus much on customizing in that aspect. However, now if I was to record a battle of me fighting some tough enemy, it's really dynamic now. It's like if I just think of my usual way that I start off, right? Maybe I'll like dash towards them with the fire, hit them a few times. Mm-hmm. Then I'll burst my like the Ifrit, like the full charge, where you start hitting them real quick.
It was very spectacle and cool because of that, but it wasn't. It was pretty boring and basic. But
100%.
Cool.
It started that way for me too.
Yeah.
But now, like, I might do that. Then I'll stop. Then I had this ability where you like. I mean, I don't want to talk about the abilities too much. I don't want to spoil anything,
Okay.
but you kind of like you can do like a mega flare. Like you got to
Well,
charge it up. You
I
charge
got
it more
the
by.
3 powers, like I said, so I know that.
Okay, so yeah, so it's
I
awesome
had
because
the Mega Flare, yeah. That
you
was
like you
cool.
like float, you like float with the wings. You become very strategic. You dodge. When you dodge, you charge the meter way faster, right? I let off my mega flare. Then all of a sudden I switch to the Ramu. Then I hit him with like a powerful one that I really charged. Then I shoot some beams. Now my battles are way different.
Okay.
They're very all over the place and really using the abilities that I've really upgraded. And it's just way better. It's just so much more fun. And some of the hunts get really hard towards the end. And I've done every hunt too. That's the other thing. There's 32 of them. Just did the final one today. He's level 50. He's like super hard battle. But because of the way I'm fighting now, it's way more strategy. I'm not bored by the combat anymore like I was in the beginning,
So I have a proposition here. So what
Sure.
game are you wanting next? If we really think about it here.
I think I'm going to finish Spider-Man after this only because I've been playing it with my son here and there, and we're about 8 hours into it. And
Okay,
I can't
so
imagine that it's that long of a game. Let me see how long to
I
be
think it's 20
Spider-Man
20
2.
something is what I would
Let's
assume.
see. Yeah, main story 17, but main plus
Okay.
side 23. So somewhere between there, I would say. Let's say
So
20.
after that, what are you doing? I'm getting to a
Uh,
point here, but I genuinely do. I am curious to what you're going to go after that, because all of these are like months later. I think you're going to finish Spider-Man in like a week.
I mean, that'll be quick. I would think Rebirth might be coming out soon after that. If
Okay.
not, I'll probably might be playing Octopath 2 in the meantime, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my idea. We'll see.
So I was saying that because I'm gonna put my pride aside and I'm
Okay.
going to give 16 another shot, and I'm just
Give
gonna
it another
like
shot.
I have to
See what you think.
reinstall it because I was trying to clear space on the system.
Listen,
Whatever.
if you play for another. Now I know this is asking, a decent amount, but if you play for another, let's say 6 or 7 hours, and nothing has changed, then I'd say be done with it. Because for me, by the time I got to,
Because
you
again, I'm in
know,
that bit to where the stone people, I have 3 powers. I'm in.
right,
I'm running around with Jill. I'm
you
in
have
like the
fire,
fields.
electric, and the God, what's her name? The Benedicta one,
Yeah.
like the wind one.
Yep.
Okay,
You fight, which was super cool, by the way. With the
that was a cool fight.
village, and then you fight outside that village,
Yes,
and yeah,
yes,
that was
yeah.
neat.
I don't know, man. I've never done such a
I like
180
that.
on a
I
game
like
in my
that
life.
character a lot too because of her like basically her love interest, but who she's like screwing over constantly.
Oh yeah, Kupka, yeah. Dude,
Yeah, that's cool.
I've never had such a complete 180 on a game ever. Am I gonna sit here and act like everything I said before is not true anymore? No, it's still true. The game still lacks exploration, still lacks customization, right?
Well,
Those
my
are the two
problem
big
is like
things.
I'm playing. Well, I need to play it, but I'm playing Persona 3 Reload like seriously, and I'm really into it.
So maybe play that and then come back to it. Because I will say, we already agreed
Yeah,
the
but now
music.
we got to do Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
It's like,
um, I will say
but
we already knew the music was great in the game, right? We already knew it was
yeah,
good
yeah,
with spectacle during boss
yeah,
fights.
loved it.
However, what I didn't know is that the side quests actually get really significantly good.
Okay,
And the main story, while I already thought it was good, it gets better and better and better. And there's some really great writing and acting in the game. So yeah, I think that's what did it for. And then the hunts, which are totally optional, I would recommend definitely doing. They're really fun. They're super challenging. Kind of reminds me of the
I
hunts in
guess
Final
if
Fantasy
I
15.
finish 3 before Rebirth comes out because I
Before
am really
Rebirth.
into it, and then
Yeah.
I'll throw that in. If not, I'll just play it after Rebirth because
Yeah, there you go.
like I'm definitely do not mind playing the Jarabuchi Pocket for I don't care how long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I have 2 side quests left. I have 1 main mission left, and I have the DLC, which is about 2 hours. So I'd say another three
when
hours
does
or
that
so.
second DLC come out?
Second DLC, spring 2024. So what were we talking about? March, April, May,
Yeah,
somewhere? One of
yeah.
those.
I'm a guess March or April. Yeah.
I'm excited for it now, though, man. I gotta say, I'm really, I'm glad I went back to the game. I definitely will put it up there. Do I think it's as good as 7 or 8 or 6? Probably not. However, do I think it's like a little step under those? Yeah, yeah. I think it's a really. I think it does some things better than all of those, but
Hmm.
it does a lot of other things not nearly as good. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, I understand that I could just like forget about all those. Okay, it's not really much of like an RPG, and just
have to
play
like
it as
shift your
and play it
perspective.
as like a story action game, and then just enjoy it that way. I
Yeah, and it's
think I could
still
do that.
you could still play it like an RPG, but you are definitely missing some of the big things that you like in RPGs, right? Like there's no exploration
Yeah.
of any consequence. I started running past battles that were not story battles or side quest battles, and it really made the game better for me. I didn't get bored. Doing the side quest, you level up so much. I had like these accessories on that give me +10 and +5, I think,
So I
experience.
was finding myself doing that, and then I was liking the game more when I did that. My only
Uh,
worry was, well, am I not? Am I going to be under leveled all the time? So are you or
yeah, no,
no?
I was fine as long as I had those two accessories on. I'm
Okay.
at the final mission of the game and I'm level 49. The cap is 50.
If I skip all these random enemies and just go through the game that way, I would put it
Right,
on.
right. That's what
If
I
it
did.
makes the game better for me, hey, I'm all about it.
But I hear there's like a Final Fantasy mode you can do in New Game Plus where everything doubles. You go to like a level 100 or something crazy
Hmm.
like that. So, but I've had my
Does it
fill, I
make
think,
it?
after this.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to play the game, but does it make it harder, or
No.
does it just?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I think
Hmm.
so. Not 100% clear on that. But yeah, man, I've definitely turned around on this game.
Okay.
Really enjoying it. I'm thinking about it right now. I want to go knock those two side quests out maybe before bed. So yeah,
Now, I mean, you're about to finish it, so you could already say at this point. When we
yeah.
go back, can we pull? Let me see if I can. I want to find our list of top 10. Do you remember? Where would you
For last
slot
for
it?
last year.
Yeah, where would you slot it in?
Oh, now,
You're about
man,
to beat it. You could
I
you
would
could give
sh-
this answer.
I would
So
shoot it up there
let me
for sure
see.
now. So
Let
let
me
me
see.
let me think. All right, my list before was Zelda, Armored Core, Super Mario, Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Cocoon, Spider-Man 2, Octopath 2, Hogwarts Legacy, and Alan Wake 2. I
Yes.
would
So
probably
where are you slotting it in? Knowing what you know now.
I would probably I'd probably keep Legend of Zelda first, right? I think Super Mario Wonder would probably be 2. I think Alan Wake would be 3. I think RE4 would be 4. And I think Dead Space would be 5. And I think Final Fantasy would be 6. If I had to guess right now.
Okay.
Probably end up bumping Octopath off there just because I haven't played it that much. But yeah, man, I think it definitely deserves a spot in there for sure.
So like
So
you're putting Resident Evil 4 remake over it.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though I wasn't as obsessed with that game, but I just think it's overall probably a better, slightly somewhat of a better game. But yeah, man,
Armor
pleasantly,
Core
pleasantly
6.
surprised. Armored Core 6 would probably be right. Oh, it's hard. Probably right behind it, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like Final Fantasy 16 more than Armored Core 6.
Okay.
And I really like
So
that game.
I'm just trying to get a gauge where
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's up
Okay.
there. I thought people were crazy when they were first saying they liked this game so much, but I'm like, I think I get it now, you know?
All
And
right.
clearly you saw that I didn't just come around because everyone
No,
else is
I
saying it. Like I put it
know.
down. I put it down for 6 months, didn't touch it barely at all after we were all excited, came back, and yeah, now it just clicked. So
All right, New Game Watch. We'll get out of here. Resident Evil 4 Gold Edition. All platforms, February 9th, but Switch, obviously. It's basically just Resident Evil 4 remake with the DLC included.
okay.
Banishers, Ghost of New Eden. All platforms, but Switch, February 13th. Dragon Quest Builders hitting Steam on February 13th. It is a good game. Islands of Insight, PC, February 13th. Lisfanga, The Time Shift Warrior, February 13th, PC. Ultros, PlayStation 5 and 4 and PC, February 13th. Arzet, The Jewel of Faramore, all platforms, February 14th. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remaster. Again, I still kind of want this. All
Yeah.
platforms, February 14th. Maybe on Switch. If it is on, as long as the frame rate isn't worse on Switch. I mean, it's PS1 games remastered. I hope not. But if that's 60 FPS on Switch, that'd be cool. I might do that.
That would be.
A little to the left, all platforms but Switch, February 15th. And then Plate Up, all platforms, February 15th.
All right.
So nothing really major up in there. But again, I really urge people, Persona 3 Reload.
Yep.
It's really good. I'm so about it.
Sounds
I'm obsessed. Great. The music is like I was worried about the music because they reworked it, but I'm happy with it. Do I want to say it's better? Like the problem is they like tweak the tracks and like they improve on it, or like maybe the rapper raps a little better according to people, or like the words are different placements, stuff like that. But it's like an overall similar track. But it's really annoying because of all games, Persona 3, like my favorite part of it is the soundtrack, and I like the original lyrics. Like I still listen to the soundtrack to this day, and whenever they like put like words things differently and the beats aren't the same and everything like that, it's like whole different songs. So it's like is it better or worse? I really don't know. I just keep getting annoyed because I want to hear this awesome song that I love, and I don't get to. And it's like gets a little annoying, so it's weird. All right, but I'm out of here. We're out of here.
See you guys later.